What do you mean? Ryan's not showing up.
Ryan's not showing up. Are you joking? He hasn't confirmed. He hasn't talked to us in like 2 days.
What did you guys say when... I thought you didn't want to do it if it was just me and you.
I don't.
Well, I don't want to do it then either if you don't want to do it.
But you need practice to get better. Ryan and I got better practicing without you.
Okay.
Put a shirt on.
Why is he not talking? I don't get it. Hold on a second.
Disgusting. Gross. Adam's gross to look at.
I can't hear you.
Speaking for the audience, I have to. Oh, he's putting on a black wife beater.
What?
He looks like Louis J. Gomez with hair.
Why? So you didn't talk to Ryan about...
He's a drunk. He's not showing up.
But you guys didn't talk about it on Friday?
Yeah, he said he wanted to, but he's a drunk. He's not going to show up. He was going to do the July 4th Pink Smoke episode. He didn't show up. He's partying.
Yeah. But you know how much shit you would give me if
well, he's talented. Okay, so knock.
He is. I agree.
So knock.
Who's there?
Knockoff, 1998, starring
Whoa, that was good.
Jean-Claude Van Damme and Rob Schneider. Leela Roshan, Paul Sorvino, Carmen Lee, Wyman Wong, Glenn Chin.
Wyman Wong, by the way.
Moses Chan.
That's a good name, too.
Kim Penn. Some great actors. Let me just show you some shocking information, okay, about this movie.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes. Guess.
Oh, well, I saw your thing.
Yeah. 8%.
8%.
Ridiculous rating.
Yeah, I was wondering what the new Space Jam has, because I bet it's higher.
Oh, yeah. 31.
Wow.
Just some corporate garbage.
Dude. And this movie is good, too.
This movie is what you want out of a movie. It provides.
We're still talking about Space Jam 2, right?
So you watch Double Team. Now, Double Team is like it's like, what's his name? Hark Soo. It's like he's directing an American movie or like a European movie, but Knockoff is like, this is full on Hong Kong. There's no mistaking. This isn't a full Hong Kong production. I mean, everything about it, the audio, the visual, the stunts,
yeah,
the setting.
He did. Well, I thought these were made in like the same collaboration things. But yeah, you're right. It's like that Knockoff takes place totally in Hong Kong and Double Team is like in Rome or something like that. But like, this is like this Hark Sui, Jean-Claude collaboration. They did two first. Two buddy movies with Jean-Claude.
And like,
they're both awesome.
He's clearly following in the footsteps of John Woo. It's like John Woo came to America and made Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And then he made it big with like Broken Arrow and Face Off. And I think it's very interesting. Face Off came out a year before this, and this is called Knockoff. Like it's almost like a copy. But
very good.
Jean-Claude Van Damme and Rob Schneider aren't exactly Nicolas Cage and John Travolta.
Oh, they're better if you ask me. They're good in this movie. They're both funny, I think, in this movie. Even this is Jean-Claude's best performance, I would say. He's genuinely funny.
Because, like, what did you think of Dennis Rodman in Double Team?
Yeah, Dennis Rodman is bad, but
he can barely talk.
But they put those like sunglasses on him and shit all the time.
Yeah, he looks cool. He looks cool, but
awesome.
he can't speak.
Yeah, he's kind of like me.
He's mumbling. He's like, I'm a cool guy. I got tattoos.
Almost there. Yeah, he's almost got something good, but both of those movies I thought are really good. kind of, and they're weirdly different. Like this one is so much more of a comedy, and
this one's crazier.
And like Jean-Claude's performance is also like I'm really sold on him as an actor now after these two back-to-backs. I see his range and I like it.
So one thing I wanted to bring up about Jean-Claude Van Damme is that he kind of has a sad face. He has a mournful, sad look in his eyes very often in these movies. He's always kind of dour and kind of depressed and like...
Well, he was doing a lot of coke at the time.
But you know what I mean? Like in Time Cop, he's kind of like, I am sad. My wife is dead.
Yes. Yeah. Time Cop mines that rich, his screen presence for maximum, ethos. No, pathos. Yes. But I really, normally like in Double Team, I was like, this could be like a Jean-Claude was giving me like Tommy Wiseau vibes in Double Team in a good way, of course. But this movie, I was like, oh, he's like good and funny in the way that he's like intending to be. And he's like, the action's pretty good. It is funny. He like does like none of his own stunts he like really doesn't do his own stunts. Where it's like he's and not even doing like half of the fight scene shit.
Yes. So I want to get into that. Like one aspect of that is that
Ryan just texted.
Yeah, he didn't watch the movie. It's all right. But
it's fine.
Some of the stunts in this movie are extremely dangerous looking. Like seriously dangerous, like with vehicles crashing into buildings or driving out of buildings and landing and on a semi and then falling on like hundreds of like gallons of water.
By semi, do you mean like a half chub? Is that what you're talking about?
Like a trailer.
No.
It'd be cool I was thinking it'd be funny if it was called Cock Off and he was like, there's a bomb in my cock.
Yeah.
But
that would be good.
It's like Speed. If I fuck too fast, it explodes. So I can only fuck very slow.
Damn. That would be tough for him because he's such a powerful lover.
Yeah. But why don't you give the elevator pitch
of this movie?
Yeah.
So Jean-Claude and Rob Schneider are like counterfeiters in Hong Kong. Because that's where all the counterfeit goods come from and stuff. Like he's got like Pumas that say like that have like 2 M's on them and stuff, and like just those kind of things. And
you're close, but you got one thing wrong. They aren't specifically counterfeiters. They are supposed to be selling jeans, making jeans and selling them or shipping them to America, but they are dealing with counterfeiters openly, especially Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's openly dealing with counterfeiters and doesn't really seem to mind. He just
Hong Kong underworld guys.
Yeah, it's just part of the business.
But this also takes place during the Hong Kong transfer from Britain to China.
Yes.
That's very woven into the fabric of this film.
And then the other thing is there are Russian gangsters and triad gangsters, and they're dealing with very tiny little bombs that they can put into like the buttons of jeans or like in dolls, and they're terrorists and they're shipping them around the world. And
these are like awesome green explosion, like chemical weapon bombs. Yeah, a lot of good green explosions in this movie.
All the explosions are green and they look completely stupid and ridiculous. But the other thing about this movie is that it's directed by Hark Sui, but the second unit director is Sammo Hung. And apparently he was just doing his own scenes by himself. Like
what? Like all the crashes and stuff you're saying? Or like
all the fight scenes, when the movie gets really nuts, you can tell it's Sammo Hung directing it, because I think he was just like working with Hark Sui and they were like, look, let's just make this movie as fast as possible. We got a big Hollywood star. Like we can probably make a shit ton of money. And apparently there was a lot of chaos with the post-production because a lot of scenes were cut. And the movie is like borderline incomprehensible in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of weird edits. And it looks like there's some like weird sequences like added onto it later.
Okay. Oh, you mean like B-roll stuff?
Not just B-roll, but like the main character in the movie, spoiler alert, dies. And then the next scene, he's alive and then he dies again. There's like 2 scenes of him getting exploded.
Oh, yes.
So, but that just adds to the fun of the movie. It's like,
yeah. I thought those were like dream sequences.
Yeah, it's not a dream sequence.
Okay, good to know.
It's the movie. It's just such a tonal shift. It looks like a dream sequence. So like, basically the movie starts with these guys selling like picking up like baby dolls that have bombs in them. And there's some like Chinese cop guy and seems whatever.
The bad guy's plan is awesome. It's that they spread these toys all over the world and then hold the world ransom.
And he wants like 100 million a day or something, or a month, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty good plan, honestly.
Because then everybody would have the bomb.
It's a really good plan.
It'd be random.
Yeah. If any terrorists copy this movie, they probably would get away with it.
Well, they have like amazing technology because these bombs are the size of like a jeans button, but it would blow up like an entire building.
That's the measurement unit that you use for everything.
But like, it'd be funny if it just blew off a guy's dick and they're like, the government's like, we got to pay.
Cock off, man.
Cock off. They're blowing everybody's cocks off around the world.
I gotta see Jean-Claude. He would be the perfect star for Cock Off, the film Cock Off. Sorry, my baby's just crying in the background. Don't pay attention to that. Everything's fine. He's being taken care of.
There's a bloody woman behind Adam.
But yeah, what did you think of Jean-Claude and Rob Schneider's chemistry?
I think it's great. I love it. I mean, they're way more alive than Double Team. Like the reason why I watched this movie is Double Team and this movie got like the most horrendous reviews. And I thought like, oh, that'll be funny to watch on cable. And Double Team was like insane.
But it's pretty good though, still.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis Rodman's so terrible. So it's like, okay, I get why people don't like this movie. But like this movie, I thought it was awesome. I couldn't believe that it got bad reviews because I was like, this is fucking nuts. Like there are scenes in this movie that were like so mind blowing at the time. And the way I would describe it is like, think of all the cool things in the Matrix and then imagine them in the stupidest kind of plot kind of movie. Like when,
same for Double Team too.
Yeah, like Bruce Lee, like when he does his Fist of Fury, like trail thing, or in the Matrix, they'll like sometimes have trails when they're moving around with their arms. And this movie will just turn on trails for like no reason, just because it's just like five guys running in a parking lot.
Yeah, I loved it. I love the I was kind of thinking like, Jean-Claude he's like as an action star. First of all, he fucking does his kick. He's constantly only kicking. But I get that that's his like thing or whatever, kicks and splits and stuff and having a big juicy butt. But what was I talking about? Distracted by his butt thing. But like, yeah, I feel like the star of this movie kind of is like, or what makes the movie really good is like the direction of the action and the editing and all the crazy style stuff that happens. It's like not about Jean-Claude when you're watching it. It's about just this cool, flashy, stylish action movie.
Yeah, because what they're doing is they have like complete confidence at this point. Like Park Soo-hee already made like Once Upon a Time in China 1 and 2, which I watched earlier this week, and like those are pretty wild, but they're way more grounded, and they have like amazing action sequences that I would say fit more into the plot of the movie more than this movie. Like this movie, it's just an excuse to have these wild scenes. And it's definitely over the top, but it works because they're so fucking cool. So like after the intro,
90 minutes too.
Yeah. After the intro, the big cool thing is,
tight 90.
There's a rickshaw race and it's like a completely contrived scene. Okay. So the reason why there's a rickshaw race is it kind of ties into the counterfeit element. They have counterfeit sneakers that say Puma with 2 M's. Yeah. And there's all these cool shots where Jean-Claude Van Damme is like, when he puts on the Puma shoe, the camera goes into the shoe. And when he's running and the counterfeit shoe is breaking apart, you see inside the shoe, like the material rip apart, like these like crazy inserts. And there is this one extremely funny thing you were joking about earlier where he's pulling Rob Schneider in the rickshaw and Rob Schneider's like, look at that juicy ass. And then like takes an eel from like like another cart and starts slapping him in the ass with an eel to make him run faster. And it's like, it's so fucking funny. It's so awesome. They just did it. They just are going for it in a way where everyone's game to do it also.
Yeah. They're all having a lot of fun. I think it's like, it's hard. It's crazy to see how much better he is in this movie than in Double Team. And it makes me feel like it's because of Rob Schneider. Like Rob Schneider made him feel comfortable on set and it allowed him to bloom as a performer.
Well, I think they also have the confidence of like, oh, we're in a big movie. This is going to be a big hit. Like, this is fucking fun what we're doing. And they don't realize they're kind of walking the plank into failure because the movie wasn't very successful and all the critics in America hated it. But like, it has cult fans. People who watched it, who like the director, kind of understood like they were seeing some wild Hong Kong shit.
Yeah, totally.
But like the rickshaw race is pretty awesome. That scene where he like runs up against a van and then like Jean-Claude Van Damme jumps up in his legs and like travel along the side of the van is pretty awesome.
Yeah, totally.
And pretty dangerous. And then at the end of the sequence, when a different van like runs into the rickshaw and Jean-Claude Van Damme is like on the side of the van and then the van crashes into a convenience store and the window, like the glass of the convenience store breaks with a stunt guy. It's clearly not Jean-Claude Van Damme, but this stunt guy is just like knocked through an entire convenience store's shelves, blowing up everything in the way. Like
he looks like he's getting hurt.
Yeah.
Which is what you want in a stunt, of course. You want to see that.
I read this one review on Letterboxd where this guy said, make sure you watch the 88 Films Blu-ray because the stunt coordinator gives commentary like, oh yeah, in this stunt, this guy's legs, both his legs are broken.
Wow, really?
And I didn't hear that
crash.
I don't know what stunt, but I didn't hear it and I couldn't find it. But yeah, people are getting hurt making this movie. People are really getting fucked up because like, that's the thing. Like Jackie Chan was getting fucked up in Rumble in the Bronx. And there is I'd say Rumble in the Bronx is the closest thing to this movie that I've seen in a lot of ways. Like, isn't the blonde guy in the rickshaw race in Rumble in the Bronx is one of the gangsters?
I don't.
He kind of looks like he's in 311.
Oh, hell yeah.
This blonde guy. But yeah, there's lots of stunts like Rumble in the Bronx where like an entire store will get demolished.
I don't think this guy's in Rumble in the Bronx, by the way. No, I think that's a lady. Isn't that a lady?
Okay, you're obviously looking up the wrong actor.
There's a blonde guy. There's a person that has bleach blonde hair. And it's clearly a lady. Okay.
No, in the rickshaw race, Adam.
Yeah. That's the same person. In the previous scene, she was arm wrestling. Yes, you idiot. You gotta look. This is pretty wild.
They have like a rectangle head, right?
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
It's
okay. I get you missing that part, and then just when you just see the close up, it's got she has a masculine.
I watched this
haircut.
like multiple times. I'd be very shocked if that was a woman.
Okay. Are you gonna look?
I'm looking.
Okay. Look at the scene before the arm where she's arm wrestling in the bar, and Rob Schneider looks at her. He says something very funny. I'm assuming, can't remember, but yeah, Rob Schneider
is a woman.
Yeah, yeah. See.
Oh yeah, now I remember. But when you see in the rickshaw outfit, you can't tell. But is that a woman?
Yeah.
Or is that just a man pretending to be a woman in the movie?
No, she's got a breast.
That could be faked.
She's got tits.
I like to see those tits. That might be good.
She's got big, juicy tits. This movie is all about tits and ass. Jean-Claude Van Damme movies are always. I feel like I've seen multiple movies that I've seen his ass, bare ass, in some other movie. And I feel like that was talked about then. He's got they talk about his ass in this movie. Maybe that was a thing. Like women that thought he was a hunky guy, like they loved his butt cheeks.
Well, you tell me.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like that was like part of his draw as a movie star. Like J-Lo. He was like the first male pog.
Fat ass white girl.
Yeah. Like there's not a lot of men that pull that off, but he does. That's why
Mel Gibson, like Lethal Weapon, it was like famous for him showing his ass like in his RV, getting up and walking across the room.
Oh yeah. Does he have a big juicy butt too?
You got it in Hollywood. If you don't have a big juicy butt, you're not going to be making movies. Okay. Like even Rob Schneider has a juicy ass.
Dude. Yeah. Rob Schneider. He's thick.
So, what's your favorite Rob Schneider scene?
I feel like early on, especially, when his introduction to the movie or whatever, when he's going through, like, what is his job? He's like running a model thing of models.
Well, they have a fashion. He runs.
He's running a fashion show. A
fashion company, and they have a fashion show. There's like a model. There's a runway show, and he only hires models who work for him. And it's all hot chicks in the office, and he loves getting massages. He's like an expat.
He's very horny.
He's like a horny expat, and
it's weird to see like a fashion show director also being like really horny for the models.
It's normal. They're either straight or gay, and they will sexually harass their chosen gender.
Their chosen gender.
Or the chosen gender they are attracted to.
So you're saying it's a choice? Is that what you're saying right now?
Yeah, it is. God didn't make any gay people. He only made perfect straight people, okay? Wow. When I have sex with a man, it's a choice I'm making. Don't you take that? Don't you take away my agency, okay?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, I'm sorry. I apologize. I was wrong.
So, my favorite scene with Rob Schneider is definitely the one where there's a CIA agent in this movie who is supposed to be their boss at this like fancy jean company, and
the fat
it's
guy?
just like
big fat guy.
No, that's the head of the CIA. It's this black woman. What's her name? Leela Rashan or something?
Yeah,
Leela Rokan. But the scene where he's like bleeding all over the place, and then she's like, helping him get cleaned up, and then she gets blood on her breast, and then she starts undressing, and he's undressing, and they're doing this like really awkward little scene where they're both getting horned up.
Yeah,
that's my favorite part.
Yeah, that was a hot scene.
It's fucking sexy.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, the rickshaw scene was cool. I was looking up Leela Rashan. That's why I was distracted for a second. Trying to see what else she was in, but I couldn't recognize. Maybe it was like a TV thing or something.
She's in like Waiting to Exhale and a bunch of movies I didn't see because, well, it's not really I'm not really the demographic. I mean, she's in The Big Hit, and like I never saw that, or Gang Related. I never saw that.
That's a similar vibe of the Big Hit. I feel like
Jim Belushi. We might have to. Jim Belushi's in gang related. We might have to do that one.
Damn. Yeah.
Jim Labushi.
Jim Labushi.
That's a cool name.
Jim Labushi.
Oh, she's in Boomerang? Damn.
Yeah.
Seen that. Oh, she's in Stewardess School. Stewardess School is like after Police Academy, they made all these knockoffs, and this is one about stewardesses.
That's cool. That sounds good.
And they're horny.
Ooh, even better. Jim Labushi is like Jim Belushi's Bizarro. You know,
it's the French.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, he's got like a scar.
He's the number one comedian in France, and he has a scar on his face, and he's just like
Jim Labushi.
And he just does like anti-Semitic humor, and it's really popular.
He does not smoke weed. He's not own a weed farm or whatever Jim Belushi is about. No.
So Paul Sorvino, we got to talk about him, from Goodfellas. Paulie, he's
of course
the head of the CIA operation in Hong Kong, but he's also, turns out he's a evil terrorist, and he's behind the whole plan.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
His scenes are really funny because I feel like the whole movie's dubbed, right? It's like redubbed afterwards, which gives it a very funny like feeling. And his dubbing definitely doesn't match. It's the most obvious.
Oh yeah, totally. Is that even his voice?
Yeah, it's his voice, but it just sounds weird.
Yeah, it sounds weird. Dude, imagine the partying that Rob and Jean-Claude and Paul and Leela did in Hong Kong.
Oh my God.
Yeah, totally. Imagine just being Jean-Claude Van Damme in this time period. This is kind of like the end of it, I guess, but like being like an action star in like the 80s, 90s, it's like you're like going all over to like Hong Kong and like these different places and shooting these like international.
These are like big budget movies, like because now like this wouldn't even get released in the theater. This is straight to video. It's like
now
all these action movies just come out all like they're nothing now. But like back then, you could still. It's kind of like Boogie Nights. Like you could pretend you're a movie star, even though your movies are just bombing one after the other.
Maybe they're not doing bad in Asia though.
They're like international. There's like, they do well in Europe, and Jean-Claude Van Damme's famous, but like.
Well, he's just doing like tons of coke and like traveling all around. And, like, he's probably having sex. Him and Kylie Minogue had an affair during Street Fighter, I read.
Yeah. Same writer.
Scandalous.
So this writer of the movie, Stephen D. Souza, I think is his name, or E.D. Souza.
Yes. He had an affair with Kylie Minogue.
Well, this guy is like a tragic case of a good writer just becoming complete garbage over his life. Not to put it in such harsh terms. Well, because look at where he starts. He does a bunch of TV. And then he writes 48 Hours. Okay, pretty awesome. And he writes some more TV. Then he does Commando.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then he writes Jumpin' Jack Flash. Or that's uncredited, so he probably did a rewrite. He did a Spirit TV movie, which is really bad. He did The Running Man, which is awesome. Bad Dreams is awesome. He did Die Hard. That's awesome.
Oh, she's done a lot.
Hudson Hawk. Now it's starting to fall apart. That's kind of a bomb. Yeah, Ricochet, I love.
Those are not the two words you want to hear. Hudson Hawk.
Ricochet's pretty awesome with Denzel Washington and what's his face from Third Rock from the Sun, John Lithgow. But then he does the Flintstones. Now he's just taking money. He's just doing shit
Back
for the money.
Back on track.
Flintstones, Beverly Hills Cop 3, complete garbage. Street Fighter, an embarrassment, an abomination.
Oh, yeah.
Judge Dredd.
I love one of the most amazing things. I mean, it's sad and tragic and stuff, of course.
And then knockoff. Look, he does. He does Judge Dredd, knockoff, and then it's basically over. Tomb Raider, and then it just falls apart. But yeah, go on.
But he's what a run though. Those are a ton of really good movies though. Before he had a long illustrious career, if you ask me.
Yeah, but Flintstones, it's just like.
Sure. Well, some are paychecks, I guess. Maybe he doesn't have any integrity.
Well, after Knockoff, he does one Tomb Raider movie, and then it's like no more movies. It's just
wow. Well, yeah,
it's like straight to video shit and like terrible TV.
Oh, he's still writing. Got it.
But barely any work. But maybe he got his millions and he just wants to, chill out.
Seems like writing movies would be more chill than writing TV, though. Somebody who.
Well, I have a feeling with Knockoff, a lot of his script was thrown out.
Oh, yeah, and they just kind of were doing like action shit.
Yeah, So we should talk about some of this action, like what makes it so special. There's this scene in the parking lot, and also the scene in the warehouse. It's like a frenzy. It's like people are running around doing things in fast motion, and it's like absurd.
When there's a scene in the middle where like Jean-Claude and Rob are getting chased by like a huge gang of people, and
they have like butcher knives and like axes and shit, and machetes, and
they actually get like hit with them and stuff too. It's like this movie makes you be like, fuck, like holy shit, like what they're going for it,
And they do this thing where you can really tell, like, apparently the way they shoot Hong Kong action scenes is like in sequence. You just go like one shot at a time and you just go through the sequence.
Great. Nice.
And you kind of, you go with the flow of like, like, oh, this thing happened, let's use that. Or this thing's here, let's use that. And you just keep going and going and going.
That's true filmmaking.
It's like you and your friends are making movies and you have 100 Chinese friends. You have 100 Chinese friends, so you don't care if they like fall out a window or like break their back or like, get their head split open.
You just got a bunch of Chinese guys you could throw off buildings and shit.
The stuntmen were paid year round and they just show up for whatever movie needs them.
Yeah, they'll
just do whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's the way to make movies, dude. Me and all my Chinese friends who do all of the dangerous things, and I film them.
Yeah, there's this one part where Jean-Claude Van Damme's on a scooter driving around inside a warehouse, and it's clearly not him. I mean, it's just it's just an Asian guy. I wouldn't even say a Chinese guy.
He is an Asian guy. You can like clearly see that he's an Asian stuntman.
He doesn't really look Chinese. He kind of looks Malaysian or something.
It's a race blind movie, which is refreshing actually.
But it's fucking awesome. And then there's also these really amazing parts where, like in the parking lot, and they find out there's a fat guy named Skinny, which is very clever.
Very good.
In Once Upon a Time in China, that actor is called Porky. So it's like they're like constantly making fun of his weight.
That was just what they like his nickname on set, so they made it his character, just giving him shit constantly.
But my favorite shot in the movie, and the shot that really made me love this movie, is they're in this parking lot running around with like trails, and then Jean-Claude Van Damme runs up to like a cement column and then crawls up the cement column like a monkey. And it's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in a movie. It's just so wild because like he has no backstory. He is not a secret agent. Rob Schneider is the secret agent. He's in the CIA. That's the big
you're right.
reveal.
Oh yeah, I'm watching him climb up like a monkey right now.
Jean-Claude Van Damme is a fashion guy with no. I guess he has a friend Eddie, and they go back and do like they have gangster history, but like there's nothing said about him being like, oh yeah, that guy's like a trained martial artist.
Yes,
no, he's just.
Who cares?
It just is assumed. It's just like, yeah, let's do it.
It could happen.
But all those moments are done by Sammo Hung with the cameras.
Cool. It's like a pretty really different style than it's like Jackie movies.
Yeah.
It's very kinetic and like, I feel like they messed around a lot in post on this movie, where they were just like, the director would just like try weird editing things to make it like to make it work, like muscling it in post, but like letting yourself leaning into like that and like just being like making that be where the style comes from. But like some of that stuff, it's like,
well, I think they were
around.
I think they were pumping these movies out at such a fast pace that it's like a factory, and they don't really care what the movie is. Like
they're doing good stuff. Like
they're doing good stuff, but it's like if it's too wild or the tone's weird, they don't care. And then I think what happened is maybe someone else did another edit, like the producers for like international. They're like, hey, we got to make this for like an international audience or
like regular people,
or we just got to make it shorter. So we're just going to cut out sequences. But there's a big sequence on this like ship at the end.
Yes.
With cool. So much action. And it's so wild.
There's a part where like Jean-Claude is sliding around on his back because like the ship is rocking and it's like wet and stuff. And he's sliding in between shipping containers, just like it's like a maze sort of thing, and he's like shooting guys, and it's just cool. Yeah, it's good shit. Where else you seen that? You know,
one of my favorite parts in this movie is when Leela Rashan, she has to go down some stairs, and then for no reason she just jumps up and spreads both legs like 4 feet and slides down these like metal railings.
Yeah, that effect looked really good.
And she just fucking spreads. It's awesome.
Yes, this movie is awesome. And yeah, like it's just like 90 minutes. It's exactly like, you know, what you want out of a movie like this. And it surprises you too. But
it's not boring. And it also like, you always kind of know what's happening, even if the twists are ridiculous.
Yeah. There's a lot of twists.
And the twists are funny, how absurd they are and how fast they happen one after the other.
This movie has fun, is having fun, and it makes the movie cool. It's like, it makes having fun seem cool.
Yeah, because they don't give a shit. I mean? They're just like, we're going for it.
Fun. Yeah. But like Jean-Claude Van Damme in this movie, he's like, this guy seems cool. You know?
Jean-Claude Van Damme is cool. And, you know, he didn't always come across as cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, even in Double Team, he gives a funny, in a not like ideal way performance, but in this one it seems like he is doing what he is intending to do.
And I think a part of that is because it makes sense he would be in the fashion industry having that like French Belgian accent.
Oh yeah, he's not stretching to play something, you're saying? Because
like Hard Target, he sounds like an idiot. He sounds like a country bumpkin. Like he's supposed to be this like, you know,
maybe
French Canadian, New Orleans kind of guy.
Yeah. Maybe this is his actual personality and stuff. Maybe he's like a little joy boy, like running around, like dancing around and like being like singing, you know, Chinese songs in his car. You know what I mean? Being like a funny, light guy, like a goofball.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't think he's super serious.
Him and Rob should have done more things. They should have been like a Chris Farley, David Spade sort of. They should have had a run. Rob Schneider is very good in this movie. You agree, right, William?
Yeah, he's good in this movie. And like one thing I like about his character is that he's not, they're not always putting him down and making him like a little bitch. It's very it feels like the role was written for like a maybe like not a non-comedic actor, but like a normal actor. Like
it's like the Eddie Murphy in 48 Hours thing, where it's like that could have been not a comedian playing that.
It's very funny that he's a CIA agent though. Yeah. He's a secret agent.
He looks fucking.
But also,
badass in
like,
this movie.
it feels funny in the screenplay because he's also very sincere about making clothes and making fashion. So it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like that was a rewrite, but they didn't rewrite all the scenes.
Okay, it's possible.
It's
We'll go
like
with you
sometimes
on that
he's a
ride.
CIA agent, sometimes he's just into fashion. And then he'll go back and forth, and you're like, does he give a shit about fashion, or is he in the CIA, or like, what the fuck is going on?
But he's always a horny little rascal, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one through line.
You know who would have been good in this role is Roman Polanski. I don't like Rush Hour 3. He's in that, but like
Roman Polanski's in Rush Hour 3?
Isn't he? There's like a famous Brett Ratner photo of him.
What do you mean? In the movie?
Isn't he in Rush Hour 3? I never saw it, but I assumed he was.
Okay.
But yeah, like a little weasel guy like Roman Polanski would be cool.
Right.
And like he's just
At the behest of Brett Ratner, Polanski joins the cast as a French police officer who impedes Chris Tucker and on-screen partner Jackie Chan as they battle a Chinese crime syndicate.
Brett Ratner just loves
Rush
bad
Hour 3.
boys. He's like, I need a bad boy in the movie. Give me, we need a bad guy.
Because he thinks he can fix them. You know,
he's just like, hey, did you see that old ham sandwich with covered in fur? Maybe that'll make you want to have sex with an older woman, Mr. Polanski. You don't have to have sex with. I see you eating those little baby clams, those dry little clams. Why don't you have a nice big ham sandwich? You know, some a little more mature.
Yeah.
Get it? Because like he's a pedophile, so he only likes little clams because they look like
little clams.
They
And
look like
what's the giant ham sandwich about?
That's supposed to be like a older woman's vagina, like a mature woman.
Oh, what? You said with like fuzz on it?
Fur.
Oh, fur.
Like a hairy
I was thinking
pussy.
like a mold, like that fuzzy mold. This is, disgusting.
Don't try to turn what I said into something gross, Adam.
Oh, you're saying it like it's good. Okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. So anyway, I got to check that performance out. Roman Polanski in Rush Hour 3.
So what would you say is the message of this movie? The moral of the story.
Well, okay. So it's a big, it's the big, the big thematic thing is this Hong Kong return to Britain, from Britain to China. Yes. That's the background of the movie, and it's called Knockoff, and they keep doing these thing where they like reference like, oh, you're a knockoff because of this twist that happened where you told me that you weren't the guy that I thought you were, or whatever. Like we're knockoffs, we're phonies. So I think that like I think it's saying that British are the real Chinese people. You know what I mean? The British are the real Chinese.
Look, obviously the message of the movie is you can't trust Italian people. Okay. Paul Sorvino betrays him and he's Italian. So, stick to your own race. That's the message. You can't be messing around with all these other races. Everything gets fucked up.
Oh, you're saying it's Chinese people are the real Chinese people.
And of course.
British people need to get out. No mixing.
Look, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Rob Schneider are white. If they just stuck to their own race, then none of this would have happened.
Wow. I mean, honestly, there's some truth to that, I feel like.
That's the message I saw.
I don't want to say I agree with Williams' race theory, but
you said
it's hard to argue with.
The British are the real Chinese people. Like I'm joking around, but your sincere statement was even more racist than mine. So you were the real racist.
No, yours was sincere and mine was the joke.
You're the real racist. So what was your rating?
Well, let's talk about this because I've seen your ratings for both this movie and Double Team. I don't know if you've doctored them or.
Okay, so Double Team I gave 3 stars, and this one I gave 3.5 stars.
Yes.
I enjoy this movie more. I recommend you see this movie before Double Team. Double Team has some good stuff. It looks good. It looks more expensive, but Dennis Rodman is a terrible actor. The chemistry isn't really there.
Cyberpunk thing about it.
Yeah, and also
kind of cool.
I don't like the stunts as much as this movie. This movie is all about the stunts, and it's all about the fun. Yeah. This movie's fun. This movie's cool.
Yeah. So
this movie delivers.
So what would you give this movie?
I said 3.5.
Oh. Sorry. So yeah, I watched Double Team and then I saw what your rating was. And so I
saw you gave Double Team 3.5 and then you deleted your rating, which I saw. From your diary.
What? Really?
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Well, well, I haven't actually posted that, so I don't know if I don't know what happened there. But
Adam takes his ratings very seriously.
I like them. I just personally, it's good. It's for me. It's not for anybody else. I wish you could hide your ratings on Letterboxd. Actually,
here's the truth, Adam. You know, his ratings are fake. They're performative. He's trying to act cool.
Yeah, I'm
being deceitful. He's doing a lot of dancing around his ratings, which he takes way too seriously.
No, I'm just trying to be thoughtful. It's like a autism thing. That's it. I enjoy the ratings for it's like a personal catalog.
What is your rating for Knockoff?
Okay.
No one cares what your rating for Double Team is. That's another episode.
Well, so
what is your rating?
My point was that Knockoff.
What is your rating?
Definitely better than Double Team. So, but it's like they're both very good. So you can't. It is hard. Like I want to give them both 3.5, honestly, but I do think that this movie is better.
Then do it.
Double Team.
Then do it.
Okay, I will.
Do what you want.
I want to. Well, I want to be true to. I'm thinking about this. I'm taking it seriously. I take the responsibility of rating seriously.
In a cold sweat. He's crying.
No, I'm chilling. I'm laughing.
He has a gun in his mouth. He's getting worked up.
Candy. I'm eating candy.
What about 3 3/4?
Maybe that's what I would give Double Team. If I could.
Double Team.
If I could just give it 3.
You just want to get Double. Why do you like Double Team so much? Just explain your love for Double Team. Because you wanted to watch Double Team. You were all excited for Double Team.
My theory is that I wanted to get Double Team.
My theory is that you saw Will Menaker post about Double Team and that made you want to watch it. Double Team is way
dickhead.
Double Team is way more popular than Knockoff. That's something I've noticed. A lot of people.
I haven't seen Knockoff, but I saw Double Team as a kid.
A lot of people are ironically,
I don't know why,
standing for Double Team when I think they're fools. I think Knockoff is the real shit.
I've been wanting to do Double Team basically since we started.
You love Double Team.
Yeah, Double Team's great. I've never seen this movie, but I think this movie is better actually. Because Double Team, you're right. It's kind of Dennis Rodman really stinks it up. Let's face it.
The stunts aren't as good.
Yeah, and Jean-Claude's not as good.
Cool.
Like it's like not funny
slick.
really. It's like
it's slick.
There's a lot of like basketball jokes in the movie that are just it's weird. It's like jokes about Dennis Rodman's playing the character, but the jokes are about Dennis Rodman being a basketball player. And that's a turn.
That's what you like. You prefer that. That's what
I
you
just think the movie looks cool.
That.
And I like the tropical island jail thing that he goes to, and like I feel like it has a good plot. I enjoy the plot of like.
What is your rating? Wrap it up
for Double Team.
For both movies, just spew your ratings.
Double Team is 3. Double Team is 3.
Oh, you copied me. You copied me.
That's why I was talking about. That's why I was setting it up.
God. Now let the record show. I saw Adam secretly give Double Team 3.5 stars.
Well,
then he watched Knockoff and changed his rating, or I posted my Knockoff rating. So Adam is once again has to copy me. He's a knockoff. He's my knockoff.
I'm not Williams knockoff.
He's my knockoff.
No, I'm. He's my Rob Schneider, and I'm Jean-Claude.
What do you think of the theme song?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. This movie has its own theme song. I wasn't copying.
It's a knockoff.
Yeah.
It's a knockoff. Do, 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 do.
Jean-Claude should sing his own theme songs like Jackie does.
Knockoff. I confess that this is really not my voice, although I had a choice. It's a knockoff, so close.